Hello and welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host Khaleel Ward, and of course, I had to talk about the Russell Westbrook-Chris Paul trade, and I don't understand the trade at all. Honestly, it seems like Daryl Morey just wanted to make a change, and on the screen right now is just the stats of Westbrook and Harden. A lot of people are saying, yeah, they played together before. That was totally different. If you look at the numbers, Harden he only started 2 games the last time Westbrook and last time they played together. He started 2 games, came off the bench, won Six Man of the Year. It was an NBA shortened season. You can see Westbrook was still putting up decent numbers. Harden was not putting up as many numbers. The usage percentage is very different. And then the last 3 years, you can see they were competing for MVPs. Westbrook averaged triple double. Harden's usage was going up. His scoring was going up. They have the top two usage percentage in NBA history. As you can see, they were both over 40% at one time. And I don't understand how they will fit together, because of their games. And I'm not saying it's just going to be bad because they're high usage players, because we've seen high usage players play well together. LeBron and D Wade, they both were at above 30 usage in '09 before they played together. And then their first season together, they were at about 31% usage. However, they they fit together because Wade was willing to take a backseat to LeBron. And they also had a competition with one another in terms of efficiency. Westbrook, he's not efficient at all. Harden, in terms of the way he gets his points, he's efficient, but his field goal percentage is not always going to be high. He took 13 3-pointers last year, and he gets to the line. Westbrook is one of the worst 3-point shooters in NBA history, especially for a high volume guy. Like when he first came into the league, he took about 100 and something, 100, just over 100 3-pointers per game. I mean, 3-pointers for a season. And then for some reason, he got in his mind that he needed to take more threes, and he just started shooting them more and missing them more, of course. He had a good season, his MVP year, where he was just hitting all these clutch 3-pointers. He shot at 34%, which is his career high. But he's a career like 30% 3-point shooter. I don't know. I don't understand how a team that loves shooting threes, who had multiple games shooting at least 43 pointers in a game, adds this guy and they expect everything to mesh perfectly. Last year, Westbrook took 411 3-pointers and he shot 29% on those. So we know Chris Paul is the better shooter of the two. Uh, Chris Paul is the better defender of the two because he doesn't fall asleep all the time. You can look at round one against Portland to see Westbrook constantly falling asleep on Lillard as he's bombing threes on him. Westbrook is younger. Um, he's slightly more durable. He's more durable, but he has a lot of procedures done. This is like the third off season in a row where he had something done to his knee. But when he plays, I give him that over Paul. In terms of mid range, I trust Chris Paul's mid range. Game over Westbrook. Paul has a steady hand. I believe Westbrook was like second in turnovers this past year. Paul assist to turnover ratio was really well done. He's a good catch and shoot player. Um, I like Westbrook's ability to get past people, where he can attack the defense, get in the teeth of the defense, kick it out to one of the shooters that Houston's going to have on the floor. So he may fit better in that aspect because Paul didn't always beat his defender. He had to settle for the mid range, because his hamstrings, weren't firing at the right time. But in terms of just looking at the roster, I don't think they're going to be yelling at each other on the court. It just doesn't seem like Westbrook is going to change his game anytime soon. Yes, he kind of deferred to Paul George, but Paul George, in terms of a takeover player, he's really quick and decisive with his moves. He come down, hit you with a little move or crossover, pull up, hit a three. That's what Paul George highlights look like when he takes over. When he goes on like a personal 10-0 run, it's he comes down, maybe gets a pick, shoots the three, boom. Or he gets a steal, dunks the ball, comes down again, quick three. He's not holding the ball for long periods of time like James Harden. James Harden will hold the ball for 17, 18, 19, 20 seconds and then kick it out to you for a three-pointer. And I don't see how Westbrook will I don't see how he succeeds in that kind of system. So either Houston changes their entire system on the fly, or Westbrook really changes his game, which he hasn't done all these years. Off the ball, he doesn't do anything. And again, bringing it back to LeBron and Wade, yeah, they had hiccups. They were best friends, but they had hiccups that first year. Sometimes Braun expect Wade to be in the corner, kick it, and he's not there, out of bounds, turnover. But then, as they started playing together, Wade became an excellent cutter. Wade is not a great three-point shooter. We all know that. But he's an excellent cutter. He was elite defensively. Both of them were elite defensively. Harden and Westbrook, not so much elite defensively. Westbrook has the tools to be elite, but he falls asleep too much, and he's not. And with the LeBron and Wade dynamic, again, it was that competition for efficiency. So their field goal attempts came down, of course. I think LeBron hasn't taken over 20 field goal attempts in the season since he played in Miami. His last year in Cleveland, he took about 20 attempts. And then once he got to Miami, it was about 18, 17. Him and Wade were about 18, 17. And LeBron was raising his field goal percentage each year. Wade, believe, was at 50, 51% each year he played with LeBron. But more importantly, that second season together, they stopped shooting so many three-pointers because they weren't that good at it. LeBron wasn't that good of a shooter back then. Wade, we already know he's not a great three-point shooter. So what did Wade do? He took less three-pointers. He took under 70 three-pointers in his last 3 seasons with LeBron. Under 70 for a season. Westbrook, again, last year, 411 at 29%. The year before that, I think it was 380 something at like 29%. So unless Westbrook is going to dramatically stop shooting the three ball and work on cutting, it's going to be some issues this year. And it's up to him to change how he plays. Because if you look at the numbers that I had up, Westbrook's scoring numbers are going down. His field goal attempts are going down. Of course, you already know his percentages they're fluctuating. I'm not going to say they're going down because he gets to the line. But he struggled at the free throw line last year. Harden, his points per game leaped up 6 points. So we already know it's Harden's team. We know what he can do with the ball. He's better with the ball than Westbrook. He takes a while to get things done. So it's going to be up. And he's a better catch and shoot player than Westbrook. Westbrook is going to have to change his game dramatically in terms of taking the three-point shot. He's going to have to get to the basket. And getting to the basket might result in more risk of injury. So it's like it's hard to tell what's going to happen with this team. If they would have ran it back with CP3, I think they would have been up there in contention with all the West teams. Clippers, Lakers, Jazz, Nuggets, Warriors. I think they would have been up there. Now, with this move, I think they got worse in the long run. Like, there'll be moments in the regular season where Westbrook, he's going to be spectacular because he has those moments. He's going to have triple doubles and stuff like that. He's going to steal rebounds from Capella and PJ Tucker. We know that. But he's in the playoffs. I don't see how they work together. I don't see how they work together. Harden gets tired all the time in the playoffs. He takes more threes. His percentages dip. Westbrook, his shooting goes down, so he starts taking more shots. So I don't see how they coexist in the long run. Like, in the beginning of the season, it's going to be like, oh gosh, it looks nice. And then it's going to be a lot of bumpy moments, because they're both high usage players. And the fact that they played together 7 years ago doesn't really matter because they're two different players, It's two different, essentially, eras since they played together, with the three ball mattering a lot and Harden starting and is an MVP winner, Westbrook MVP winner. So the dynamic on paper, it looks great. If this is 2K and like somebody had Westbrook and Harden, you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to stop them? But when you have to play the games, I think it's not going to work as well, unless D'Antoni really revamps his system, for both of these players. And he's done that with Harden and Paul already, with all the ISO ball. And he didn't re-up on his contract. So I don't see why I don't see why he would put in that much effort to really change everything, because right now it's a lame duck season for him. So with Chris Paul, I think, yeah, he has issues wherever he goes. Yeah, because he's going to constantly talk to you and yell at you and talk to you and yell at you. That seems to be the gist with everywhere he goes. And I think he was pushing Harden. I think he was the one to try to push him to get to that next level. And Harden is a superstar, but in the playoffs, he doesn't really raise his game. And I think Paul was there to try to hammer that home, and he got tired of it. And now essentially he's in limbo because we don't know if he's going to get moved to another team. If he stays in OKC, he can help SGA. He can get Steven Adams easy buckets. He'll play well with Gallinari off the pick and pop, and he'll be a stable, point guard as we know he is. The games won't be so high stake, so maybe his demeanor will change, or maybe he will act up so he can get moved to a contender. It's hard to tell. He's 34 years old. He has a lot of money on the books, but right now he's in limbo. He's a solid point guard. He's not at that elite level anymore. He's slightly below that because of the injury history, because he delivered 2 years ago in the playoffs against the Warriors. He got hurt hitting a game-winning, essentially, shot, so he can still get things done. It just takes a little bit longer, and, they have to watch his minutes and everything, and, keep him low maintenance, high maintenance, make sure he doesn't play a lot of minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see where he lands. I don't think he stays with OKC, although it'll be a good pickup for them. They'll have a solid team. He would play better with SGA, because he can shoot, but it's a wild NBA season. Again, summer league is almost over, and we still getting moves like this, and they're essentially not done. It's going to be another move happening within weeks probably, and then more emergency podcasts are going to drop, which I love. I love when all the people just start dropping emergency podcasts. Boom, 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 boom. Bill Simmons, back to back. Howard Beck, everybody's dropping pods, and I love it because I love listening to the content. But these are my thoughts on the Westbrook Paul trade. I don't see how it works really in Houston. It's going to be a weird season, a lot of different things going on, and I look forward to it. I'm excited. Let me know what you think about the trade. Do you like it? Are you a Westbrook fan? Are you a Harden fan? Leave comments, comment, subscribe. Deuces.